Oh, hey!
We're here. Hoping this is tablet's wrong.
Waterbox Live. We are here with you again on Wednesday.
Coming at you guys every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Like, subscribe, share, and subscribe.
I can't do that part. I can't. I will
I'm
mess
still
it
trying
up
to get used to
every
it.
single
Yeah.
time. Today we're discussing water storage and automation. Let's get started. All right, we are back, and we actually want to take a little quick peek at the tank that we set up last week. We did a 2-week build on our freshwater, the Clear 16. It is looking really nice. It's starting to fill a little bit.
Nice
the fish are happy.
Yeah. So guys, if you didn't watch the 2 weeks previous to this week, we started a 2-week build on this Clear 16. So go back after the stream, check those out. It's pretty cool. And it's looking nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because we have it right here in our studio, so we get to kind of take a quick look at it during our live, see how everything grows in. We're looking forward to just kind of watching the live plants grow, add some more fish soon, and letting everyone kind of be able to see it grow and develop.
Yeah, it's going to be really neat. And you can even see there in the front, some of those baby tears are starting to spread out. So everything's doing really well in it. And again, Jess, there's no pressure on this tank because it is here in the studio.
None whatsoever. That it must continue looking good and growing.
Yes.
But yeah, so we actually this week are going on a topic that I think a lot of people want more information on. Or something they want to do, but they don't really know how, or they seem like it feels too big of a project to conquer.
Yeah.
So we have taken on the water storage, water vats, and automation.
Yes, this is such an important topic, and I was just talking to Jess before the stream. A lot of people don't really think about how important this is.
Yeah.
They don't think about the evaporation water. They don't think about, I have to be able to mix salt or store fresh RO water, and not only that, but make it easy to dispense and use when you need it.
Yes, and I mean, in a smaller tank, a lot of times just going to your local fish store, buying the RODI or the mixed salt, very easy, 5-10 gallons here or there. But as you get bigger, and I used to always say to kind of people that like the cutoff point's like a 55, 75 gallon.
Right.
Once you get over that, like it pays for itself pretty quickly to have the RO unit, to make an area to mix your water, to store it. Because buying it by the gallon just adds up for initial fill, water changes, top off. It's going to pay for itself pretty quick.
Yeah, it gets to a point where you don't need to be driving to the fish store every day. Not that you don't want to support the local fish store, but definitely an RODI unit becomes essential.
Yeah, then you can go to the fish store for the fun things, the fish,
yes,
the corals,
exactly.
all that
now you're
kind of
saving
stuff.
the money on the water on, the corals.
Yes, and we've had here at our office, because we have a lot of tanks, we're always setting up new ones, taking them down. We've always had our water vat since we moved into this office. But it's not so nice.
Not so pretty. We kind of just plopped them down and put some poses on it.
So the goal was always to kind of eventually make this more automated. But when we came in here, we'd had these 2 vats. We just put them in place, got a lot of long hoses and pumps, and it just was always kind of a mess.
Yeah, a couple pythons there. And
no automation, lugging hoses around, making a mess. So finally, we actually had the chance to do it the way that we envisioned from the beginning, and it's going to automate everything really nicely. Our customer success manager, Chris, we recruited him to work on this project for the last day or two for us to get this up and rolling. So very excited how it turned out.
Yeah, it's so...
Yeah. So it's pretty easy. So we're just going to show you the vats, but just to kind of show you what we did in this process is the spot that we're going to have the 2 vats. These are very heavy. Both of these vats are 175 gallon each, but we need them raised up we'll show you kind of why. So we did center blocks, making sure that one is centered under each vat, and it's evenly laid out, and then you got the plywood just right on top for your support.
What's cool about that is it's super simple. All you have to do is go to the hardware store, pick up some center blocks, a sheet of plywood, and you're pretty much ready to go.
Yeah.
For this particular setup, it doesn't need to really be any more fancy than this because it's really just to elevate the.
And you could get fancy if you wanted to paint it, put like a skirt around it, make it all pretty, and we may kind of, pretty it up later. But for now, it's just going for function, and then we just put the water vats on top of it.
Yep.
Now, to do this, you have to have basically the bulkheads drilled into the water vats. And with this, we use the hole saw. and were drilled there. And these kind of water vats actually have a flat surface where they're intended to be drilled for this purpose.
And we did put a link in the description to where you can pick up these water vats, because this isn't a product that you can easily just find on Amazon.
Yeah, no.
And we actually picked these up from Aquatic Eco Systems here in Apopka. They sell those. They're designed specifically for this use.
Yeah.
And they're not really that expensive. If you do have to freight them, it can get a little expensive.
And they make them a lot smaller. Like ours are big. They're 175 gallons each. They're really tall. But they make them smaller. You can get vats of 50 gallons, 100 gallons, and a lot of different sizes, depending on really how much water you need. Honestly, like we don't even 175 gallons at one time, but it's better to have extra if you have the room for it.
And there's other storage techniques you can use too. You can go to Home Depot and get a brute storage trash can and a lid. That's a way that, maybe you have a smaller tank, you don't have as much water demand.
A Rubbermaid bin. Yeah. It really depends on just how much water you need, how much space you have, and just how fancy you want to go with it. So.
This is the higher end of the spectrum when it comes to setting these up in regards to cost, but
we didn't go through step by step of it, how it was plumbed, but whenever we go over to the vats, I'm going to kind of show you how everything connects together and why we used ball valves and stuff in all the different areas. But this is the system now. So we have on the right side is our freshwater, left side will be our saltwater mixing. It's raised up. There's room for buckets to fit underneath. We can use storage under there, and we're not lugging lots of hoses back and forth, and there's no pumps inside those vats.
Yeah, love it. It's such a clean look. We got a lot of tanks in the office, so
it's going to make it a lot easier and just neater. So that area just was a mess with hoses, always just kind of laying around and stuff. So
and you have the gravity feed option. We're going to head out there right now and show you guys. You have the gravity feed option where the buckets were sitting, so that you can easily get water without having to pump it in or anything like that. So. Hence the reason why they're actually raised up off of the ground.
Yeah, so we've actually made a few kind of changes to this area. A new installation we did is we actually put in a utility sink. We tied it into the plumbing behind this wall so that our RO is automatically set up. We can rinse everything, have a lot easier access here. Just with as many tanks and things we're doing around here, we just need that simplicity. We were using bathroom sinks and like outside side doors and stuff, so it wasn't very functional.
Yeah, and what's nice is we went ahead and picked up one of the sinks that has a flexible arm here. We just picked it up on Amazon. Pretty easy to install. It's tied into the bathroom back here. This is a good thing to have if you're cleaning a lot of nasty stuff that you don't want to be doing in your kitchen sink.
If you have like a fish room or like your water storage is in like your garage or somewhere, you can easily set one of these up, and it's going to help tie everything together, because when you have an RO system, you have to have a feed line for the water to go in, but you also need a waste line. So it's got to be tied to water somewhere. So I kind of put the sink in there at the same time works. So we got our RO system here, our utility sink, and our vats are up and running. We just started letting this one fill with water. So we've only got like 40 gallons, but it's making it. So what we did is, this one is automatically set up with a foot valve to the RO. So it's gonna constantly stay full of fresh water. This is gonna fill all the way up until it's full. Then when we take some, it's going to use it. With what we did here is each vat has a 1-inch bulkhead at the bottom, so that we can basically, right here, if all we want to do is open this, we can fill one bucket if you want to carry some water and top off. Now, if this salt water was full, we could do the same thing here. So this is just a gravity fill for buckets, fits right underneath.
And this is great because we have a lot of tanks here in the office. We don't want to run hoses over to top things off. So typically what we do, we fill up the bucket with fresh water, we bring it over, we dump it into the ATO chambers.
We have nanos all over this place. So it's like 10, I guess we're probably 5 or 6 nanos. We go to each one and have to top it off each day. So just having a bucket that you can gravity feed without pulling a hose out and doing all that, that's a nice feature. So then what we did is, you can see that we use a Vectra pump here. Since it is controllable, we use the Vectra to what now can actually pump water from the freshwater vat over to the saltwater vat. So whenever we want to make salt water, what we're going to do is we open our ball valve. So this line going here is going to the Vectra, and then it's going to come up here, and it's going to dump right into the saltwater vat.
So you can just kind of follow the ball valves the way they're opened up. The way that they're pointing is the way the water's going to go. And that's how you're going to and that's how you're going to pull the fresh water over to the saltwater tank.
And since we're using a Vectra, all we have to do is shoot on our power, fires up, and it's actually now going to be taking all of our fresh water over to this vat. Nice thing about that is this will actually then also recirculate the salt water whenever you're mixing it. So you don't have another pump anywhere in the water. You don't have more cords or any of that. So right now this is actually just moving your fresh over to this where I can throw a bag of salt in and it'll start to mix.
Yep.
And then the same deal, like if I just wanted a little bit of salt water once this is mixed, we could take this and open it right into a bucket. And then I'm gonna try and move enough water over just so I can show you. We can take
the recirculation.
Yeah, the pump turn off. Say if that's all the water we want to move over, we're gonna make just a little bit of salt water today. We would then turn off
close that one.
That one, because that's all the salt or fresh water we're gonna use. And now we open this. Maybe.
Other way.
There we go. And this is gonna take from your bulkhead through, basically just recirculate and mix your water.
Yeah, so this is a great thing. So once you get your salt all in there, this is going to mix the salt water for you. So it's really, really convenient way to do both your fresh water and your salt water. They're both tied in. Once you kind of learn how the valves work, that was the biggest learning curve for me is with the valves. It was kind of confusing in the beginning, and so once you learn how the valves, which ones to open and close, it's really easy to use.
Yeah, so now this one right here is just completely recirculating this vat. So if I had salt in there, it's gonna mix it. And then what we did is right here, we're going to kind of have a hose attachment. So when we are doing water changes to any of our systems around the office, we're gonna be able to hook a hose here, open this valve, and that's gonna have salt water pump out.
Yeah.
You okay now?
No, not gonna
So
do
guys,
that.
there is a little bit of a toilet paper shortage. So, what you can double this as is a bidet. So what you do is you basically just stand up here on the platform here and open the valve, and now you've doubled it. For the toilet paper you can't find at the store.
So simplified, yeah.
All right, we got PG-13 for the first time. No big deal. It's all good. But yeah, this is a great setup.
Yeah, it was very easy. I mean, once you kind of figure out just where your lines are, you can see it's really just 3 different lines, connecting them all with a pump. You can mix your salt water, pump out salt water, fresh, anything you need. Pretty simple. No more hoses, no more cords and pumps sitting in the vats.
Yeah.
So.
Love it.
Big improvement from our first picture, because that was a gross mess. And if you have any questions, just let us know. We are going to look at Facebook and YouTube and all that. I lost my Facebook thing.
Back in the studio.
Back in the studio.
So I'm sure some people that are watching that are a little overwhelmed by it, but it is relatively simple to do. We're going to show you guys a few pictures of our Facebook user group. That have done some other
and you can
too.
really, like you said, can go as simple or advanced as you want. And basically see here, very similar setup. They've got a pump kind of going from, basically hooked up to the saltwater one. It can move from salt or fresh. Very similar to ours, just slightly different as far as going further out on the sides and stuff. So, and then here, as simple as a trash can with like a faucet bulkhead at the bottom.
Gravity fed, right?
Yeah, and that's just gravity fed. RO line going into it. You can just mix with pumps or whatever inside one of the salt water, but it still makes it easier to fill buckets or move water around. This is a nice one. Those are big water vats right there. And you can see basically the same thing. He's got them tied together. He's also got a tubing for, gravity feeding out of the salt and the fresh one. So it's just basically the same concept, gravity feed from either one, and have a pump that's able to move water between the 2 vats.
So this is a different one. This one's actually stored on the ground, so this one does obviously require a pump to do what you need to do with it. But yeah, very similar setup. It's just not elevated.
Yeah, it looks like basically they're just using a piece kind of up on the tall part to then pump water out from just higher up. So it just isn't no gravity fed part of it. It's all pump fed on that one. And this one here, you can just empty fish tanks.
Yeah. Anything that'll store water will work.
Yeah. This one kind of cool. You see, it's got like different runs going down for buckets, so it's basically just fish tanks and then buckets underneath of them, plumbed to, looks like mostly gravity feed.
Yeah.
So.
And the RODI unit, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. You can go simple, you can go fancy, but the main thing is just making the process of like making, mixing, and doing water changes easier. The easier it is, the more likely you're going to do them. Like I said, the bigger the tank, you can't it's not as efficient to buy it by the gallon or, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
making your own really is just the best bet.
Yeah, I can tell you from when I first started in this hobby, I didn't understand the importance of being able to make your own water. And I went relatively larger system. I had 120 gallon when I first started. I didn't realize the importance of having your own water. So I made a lot of mistakes early on. I can tell you that if you have multiple tanks, or like she said, a 55, 75 gallon is about when you want to start making your water, definitely make the investment in a water storage system like this. You can do it cost effectively too, but it's going to save you a lot of headache because these tanks evaporate a lot of water.
It is.
And they do require water changes if that's the route that you're maintaining your aquarium.
Yeah, in the long run, it will pay for itself in comparison to buying it. So I do have a couple questions over on Facebook from some people watching. Chris Kent says, how did you tighten the bulkheads from the inside? So they went into the bottom, and then the screw-on parts on the outside. You're not on the inside.
So all you have to do is get the bulkhead through.
Yes.
And then you tighten from the outside.
Yes. If you did it the other way, it'd be about impossible.
Yeah,
you could climb in there.
You could do a handstand, you know, like do a handstand in the tank and, you know, get stuck.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you can't because it's got a tiny little opening on it.
It does. Like, yeah, no one can go in there.
Yeah.
Throw a little kid.
So you're not doing a handstand.
You could throw a kid in there, but that'd be about it. Yeah, so just the threaded part on the outside.
Have your 6-month-old put the bulkhead in, I guess.
But yeah, so it's very nice. And Evan says that our freshwater tank needs a clown loach, and I agree. I love clown loaches.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll get added, but clown loaches are kind of sensitive, so it wouldn't be on the first round of fish that we wanted to add. We are going to add some more fish in here now that it's stabilized for a week or two. Add some more neons in there so they school a little bit better, and maybe some cool loaches and stuff like that.
Yeah, this tank's really cool. And this is the Clear 16, such a cool little system. It doesn't cost a lot of money to get it set up. So I love it.
Yeah, very cool. Any questions on YouTube?
Let's
Hopefully
see
we
here.
inspired some people with some ideas on how to set up their water system.
Sean just said, you know, you can use the RO, part of the RODI for drinking water, but there's no real questions.
Okay.
Matt says he's thinking about doing that same setup in his laundry room.
You'll love it. You'll love it.
I'm telling you, it's a good idea to have it. Invest in an auto shut-off valve for your RODI unit because accidents happen when there's lots of water in your home. I've done it before.
There's even like little flood sensors. So if you're RO or something.
The Guardian, I think by XPAqua. Have you ever seen that? Was it the Flood Guardian or the Guardian?
Yeah, something like that. So that if when your vat overflows or something, it will alert or send out an alarm. So that's something too, because even float valves do fail. Yeah. Not regularly, but they do. But just some precautions to put in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And
are we good?
Possibly back next week?
Yeah, so that's just so you guys know, for those of you that tune in every week, there is a little bit of an unknown right now. We're luckily that we're able to be in here this week. We don't know what's going to happen next week. We're just playing it week by week. We're all trying to be safe and everything like that.
So if we can be here, we will next week, but we just don't know.
Yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated. We'll post on social media when or if we will be live. One way or the other, we'll be live. I can tell you that. It just may not be in the studio. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching.
See you later.